morning, good afternoon. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Pigskin Isn't Just for Cooking podcast. This is Adam Bullock, your commish with the dish, here with Evan Forbes, a.k.a. Kissin' Cousins. Hello, sir.
Hey, man.
How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm nice and full. Stopped by Smith Burger on the way over here.
Oh, Smithy Burger.
Yeah, I had a nice big burger and fries. Got to see Dan and Drew, so yeah, I'm doing good.
Heck yeah. No, it's good to have you
Yeah.
on this day. It's football weather outside.
Oh, dude, it's the best. We're both wearing hoodies.
Yep.
We've already made our first pot of chili of the season.
Ooh, I think I'm making chili tonight.
Dude, last week we had chili 3 days in a row. The wife made it Saturday night, so we had, and I made macaroni and cheese, so we had chili mac Saturday night.
Hell yeah.
And then Sunday, Tristan came over and we cooked up some hot dogs. So we had some chili dogs. And then Monday night, Dan came over for the Monday night football game, and I cooked us up a couple chili dogs again. So
Eat
yeah.
chili in any way possible.
3 helpings of chili in as many days. Yeah, it's football season.
Yes, it's still football season. Thank God. Week 5. But we are going to talk more about week 4 this podcast. But let's jump into some news. We don't have any corrections.
No, I don't know if I'll say it was a perfect episode, but I mean, I didn't catch any corrections. I didn't catch any from you. So, I mean, if somebody out there wants to let us know, I'm more than happy to hear it. But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I kicked ass.
Yeah. If you find Evan's mistakes, let him know. I'm good. You don't have to tell me how I messed
Right.
up. But anyways, let's kick it to you for the news.
Yeah.
Who will the Patriots' #1 receiver be this weekend? My brothers are fantasy warriors. We share our knowledge with one another. Whatever my brother knows, I know. And all of their knowledge will be mine. I'm gonna crush you guys this week.
First up, we have a new retiree, and that is Cole Beasley.
Good job, sir. You
Yeah.
did it. You made it. You had a great career.
Bills for most of it? Or
Yes. For
Yeah.
the Bills for most of it. I think he spent, was it 13 years in the league?
A better podcaster would have brought up this information before I even talked about it, so I couldn't tell you. But
I'm pretty sure it was 13 years.
yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I think he spent it mostly on the Bills, if not all of it on the Bills.
She wants to be at home, be a good father,
Yeah,
made some millions,
yeah.
hang out for the rest of his awesome life.
10 years in the league.
It was 10? I swear it was 13.
Yeah, he was actually on Dallas most of his career.
Oh.
He was only on the Bills for 3 years, and then this year he was on the Bucks roster before
Right.
he just
I think
retired.
he played 3 games for the Bucks.
Did he actually play this year?
Yes.
Oh.
He had a few catches last week. Maybe 3.
Oh, okay.
I'm making up all these numbers. Don't
Dude,
listen
hey,
to me.
when you're done, you're done. And you can't be mad at it. You know what I mean? I don't care how young a guy retires, especially after seeing, what happens to some guys in this game as far as injuries. Yeah, if you're
Right.
done, you're done. Just like Andrew Luck, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people gave him guff because they thought he got out too young. But as a guy who had, a bunch of back issues, I believe was his issue.
Just a bunch of injuries.
Yeah.
It's a hard sport to play. You're getting beat up out there.
Yeah, when you're done, and nobody should say boo about it. So thanks for your games, fella.
Yeah,
We appreciate it.
retiring is just fine. I was even reading articles stating, that Tua should
Oh, really?
think about retiring
Really?
after the injury.
Well, I'll say at the very least it's a conversation that probably should happen
Right.
between at least him and his family.
Something he should consider.
At least.
He wouldn't be the first at 24 to retire.
No.
He's still going to be a millionaire. He's still guaranteed like $30 million.
As long as you do right with your money
You can retire at 24.
and be good to
That'd
go.
be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Man, I want to retire.
Well, speaking of a season being over, Javonte Williams.
No.
The old torn ACL.
Bummer. That's,
Happens every year to somebody, I feel like.
Yeah. Season is over. I think it was. Yeah. I don't know. I'm speechless.
Now, how bad does that hurt you and your team? Because you have Dalvin Cook and Madison, so you're good on that front.
Right. I had Javonte. Javonte was my 1A or 1B, depending on the week. I will have Montgomery or Herbert.
And honestly,
But who's got the hot hand? I'm benching both of those players this week.
really,
I can't trust. I don't know who's going to pull it off. You know,
Right,
It's
Chicago.
not and Chicago's just not.
They're
doing
playing
well.
Minnesota too, so
Right. I picked up Minnesota D. I'm gonna be playing them, and
nice.
I'm all Minnesota this week.
Oh wow,
Let's
okay.
get it.
Well, good luck to you and the rest of your season for that. I don't know if that's a little scary for you.
It's
or-
absolutely scary.
It's
It's
scary.
a big bummer.
I'll put the soundbite in now.
You scared the shit out of me.
Everybody's freaking out.
You're scared.
My season is over. My season is over.
That's a great soundbite.
After that, just an IR, but Cordell Patterson. That's a pretty huge hit for the Falcons, I feel like.
That is. Do you think he should have played this past week? Because he was on the designation. He was questionable going into that game, and they played him. And now he's on IR. They did eke out the win, but they lost their running back.
Right, and that was going to be my question is, well, they won the game. So obviously you would think the answer is, well, of course he should have played because, they needed that win. But, yeah, I don't know. You're right. If he would have waited, maybe that would just cost him 1, maybe 2 games instead of now you're on at least 4. If,
Right.
best case scenario, you're at 4 weeks. So
And he's been in the league a while. He's not a young buck anymore.
no, he's not. He really isn't. Yeah. So that's tough for the Cardinals because I thought they were kind of on the uptick, and now I'm not sure about that. Speaking of IR, that just in this morning, which today is Saturday the 8th of October, Treylon Burks, old turf toe.
That's nasty. I hate that term. It freaks me out.
I picture things that that isn't what it is, but just gross stuff.
Turf growing on your toes.
Right, like
It's
clusters.
green.
Ugh.
Some guy comes in and chalks it or puts the paint on it. I don't know.
Yuck.
Yeah,
Like
it's
green
gross.
and with hairs coming out of
Right.
grotesque places. So that's tough for the Titans.
Hopefully it's not bad turf toe. I know really bad turf toe requires surgery.
Oh, okay,
It's
yeah.
essentially, for people who don't know what turf toe is, it's it's like a sprained ankle, but for your toes. It's when they are overextended and the ligaments and tendons get overstretched from your running motion. And I
Pushing
guess
off too good.
right, you're pushing off. I guess the give is weird on turf.
Ooh, nice
I haven't played too
phrase.
much on
gib?
turf. The give.
Give. I thought I
Give.
said gib. Sound like a ship
Oh,
term or something.
A jib, I think is a jib.
Oh, there it is.
But yeah, so that's tough.
Yeah, Dan's got him. He was on his bench anyways, but Dan is slowly building up a bench of injured and out players.
His IR is filling up.
Right. Oh, by the way, Dan, move him to your IR, but you're not going to ever hear this, so
Is he one of our non-listeners?
I think so. He
That's
keeps saying,
okay.
I'll start, but then he never
So
starts.
hopefully, with all these shout-outs to Smithburger, they'll be playing while they're cooking, right?
At least
You
while
know?
they're doing dishes or something when they got some
Exactly.
downtime.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, what are you
We
gonna
would
do?
love that. Jumping into our questionable tags.
Yeah.
We have it's a decent list. Julio Jones,
Mm-hmm.
Logan Thomas, T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill,
Right.
and Darren Waller.
The Waddle Hill combo makes me a little nervous for Miami this week. They're playing the Jets, which, historically wouldn't be a big deal. But
Give him historically, that's a good rest day, a good rest week.
even playing them at home, yeah, for sure. But being out both those players, and then you do have Teddy Bridgewater, who is he's an NFL quarterback,
Yeah, he can do it.
for sure. But I don't know. I guess you'll be leading on your running game a little bit more probably this week. Your pass option game a little bit more this week with your
One will
backs.
play, one won't. I'm not sure which one will.
Yeah. Okay.
Just to stick it to Johnny, I hope it's Tyreek Hill. But
Yeah. Well, and I have Jalen Waddle, so yeah, that'd be great for me.
oh yeah, absolutely. I think Julio Jones is gonna play.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Thomas, I don't know. I'm not sure. Is he still on Washington?
Logan Thomas, that sounds right.
Tight end. I feel like he's been around forever.
Yeah, he's on Washington. Melvin's
T.
got
Higgins,
him.
I think he's gonna play.
Right.
He's been having really great games. I don't think they can give that up.
No.
And Darren Waller, that's a big question mark. I'm not sure. I need to do a little more research on that.
Sure.
But
Is that your guy?
no.
Oh, okay. Well, then you don't really need to do the research.
Well, for my own personal sake, I'll take a look
For
at
sure.
it. Into the outs
Yeah.
for this week. Jonathan Taylor was out, did not play on Thursday. Johan Dotson going off. He's out as well.
Yeah. For the
Keenan
Commanders.
Allen
Still out.
officially out.
I don't know what week in a row this is, but
He played week 1.
yeah, so this is number 4.
Yeah. Michael Thomas out again. Dawson Knox is out. Rashad Bateman officially out, and C.D. Lamb.
And most of those players obviously are on our benches already, with the exception of Rashad Bateman, who is still on Beatles.
Still in Beatles lineup. He's still got time to adjust.
Yep,
But Beetle, if you hear
notices
this
it.
before 8:30 a.m., I guess. Well, I don't know if they play at the 8:30 game, but
The 8:30 game is the Giants in Green. No,
Okay.
that's not right. Is it the Giants in Green Bay? It's first on my list for my pick sheet, so maybe it is. I'll look at
makes
it on the
sense.
break.
I think it is.
I want to say so too, because I was like, oh, and I really have no dog in that fight, so I don't
So
have to worry
over
about it.
8:30 games already.
Terrible. And the Dawson Knox one is a kind of a bummer because he actually put together a little bit of a game last week, I believe.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely.
For
It was
Chris Alex.
for Chris Alex. It's his main tight end.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm not sure if he has a backup, but hopefully he will.
You know, I'm playing Chris Alex this week, so you know. Oh, he actually does have Dawson Knox in his lineup still.
Right.
Well, he'll fix that.
Yeah, he will. He was messaging on the boards today, so.
Okay, yeah.
I-
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's
I
got to
saw
be. He's got to have seen it.
that. Yeah.
If not,
Oh boy.
then another win for you. You'll be
Yes.
3-2.
I mean, I want to earn them. I mean, I still want my Beetle bye week as what I think it's kind of turning into this season, but you know, I want to earn my wins.
Yay. Right? And speaking of winning,
Yeah.
I want to congratulate you
Hey.
for our Week 4 recap as highest score with 192.39 points.
Now, is this the first time this season that a highest score hasn't been in the 200s?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yes.
I thought so. Because week 2, there was 3 of us. And last week, Mile High was in the 200s in the first week.
You
Yeah.
barely got away with it. I think you got it
Raul.
by 0.3 of a point.
Yeah, Raul was inching up. That Monday night game, I think he had, I forget who played.
That one more sack he was praying
Maybe.
for would have put him over and given
Oh,
you
that's
that
right. Did he
point.
had San Francisco defense?
Yes.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, and I saw him inching up. I was like, man, am I really going to get robbed to my highest score this week? I'm like, come on. These Monday games have to stop.
No, Thursday games have to stop.
For
And
the health of the players and
We'll
everything.
talk about that
Oh,
later.
okay. Yeah, please.
They absolutely got to go. Put 2 games on a Sunday or whatever. But let's cover that later. Worst team that week, Beetle showing up with 77 points. That's tough, man.
That's tough when this year alone, that's only like 11 more points than a quarterback.
He's got a
has
great
scored.
young dynasty team.
Yeah.
They're just not stringing together wins for him this
Yeah.
season. But look out, man.
tough.
Look out. Beetle's still coming for us all at some point.
Yeah. End of the season. That's what he
Right.
does. Some of the top scorers this week, though, the number 1 starting quarterback was Geno Smith on Daskell's team, 39.45. Pretty
Get
solid.
it.
Pretty solid. I had the number 1 running back, who was Rashad Penny. Last minute plug-in, man. The whole Kamara
Yeah.
thing. I had taken Kamara out later Saturday night because that was the early game on Sunday. I made some moving around, and I hadn't played Rashad Penny this season yet. And I was like, maybe this is it. It's going against the Lions, I think, is who they play.
Right.
Again, I've like, Lions like to score, and they like to let people score against them.
He busted off at the end there. What was for like a 50-yarder, 34?
Yeah, I think I
somewhere.
had credited to like a garbage time touchdown. It was
Yes.
garbage time for me because I had pretty much had cashed in my week because I hadn't really been doing a whole lot. But then it was like the end of those noon games, or maybe it was the 3 o'clock game, but whatever. Top receiver starting was T. Higgins for Daskell again. Daskell had 2 top scores, his quarterback and now his receiver. 29.9, solid numbers for
Mm-hmm.
receiver. You, my friend, crushed it in the tight end category, though.
TJ.
41.9.
TJ Hawkinson went off.
Yuck
That's
City.
what happens when everyone else is injured. They had Swift gone. They had Amon-Ra St. Brown gone.
Game script was good. It was going to be a high-scoring game.
And it was the highest scoring game. Was it 98 points?
93, 98, something like
Woo!
that. It was nasty, dude.
That was fun. That's football, right?
93 points. Yeah. Crazy. And then after that, like we were just talking about, Raul had the number one starting defense, the 49ers. 36.24, put on a heck of a showing at the on that Monday night game.
Yeah, great job, everybody. Some bench warmers of the week. Jimmy Garoppolo riding your bench,
Yeah.
having 25.86 points. That's a respectable number.
Yeah.
It's enough to consider, slotting him in as your super flex, right?
Behind Herbert or Burrow, not just yet.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And that's the thing is I get trades sometimes from people. I won't talk about the trades on air, but my big thing is I have going for me, it's the youngness of my team, and it's very hard for me to let go of young players. And that's all I'll say about that.
Jimmy Garoppolo's. Oh, well.
I'm not talking about him,
Oh,
but my team. I'm talking about the
shoot. Now I'm
Herbert.
thinking about it.
Well, you'd mentioned, yeah. Well, as far as Herbert and Burrow being my very young quarterbacks,
Right.
my whole team, I'm trying to make a young
No,
team. So
exactly.
it's hard for me to let go of any of my young
Longevity.
players. You're right.
championship longevity.
Yes.
That's dynasty football.
Because I'm not winning this season or this. No, not
We
this
don't
season.
know.
We
You
don't know.
Wow, yeah.
But
All
if
right,
I
just-
do, man.
If that's your feeling, just bench all your players when I play
all
you.
right. You know what? You're right. Shame on me.
If that's your sentiment. The biggest running back on the bench warmers this week was Miles Sanders on Daskell's bench. Daskell all over the board this week.
Oof.
But he had 28.6 points. Josh Reynolds, the wide receiver bench warmer, was 17.6, sitting on Johnny's bench. Also on Daskell's bench, the highest tight end scorer on the bench at 17.3 was Tyler Higbee.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tennessee Titans with 25 points on Melvin's bench.
You know, I think I was looking at the scores, and I think Daskell could have had over 200 if he did his team.
Put it all the right way.
Yeah, the most efficient, I think, is what that whatever award title is. The
Right.
most efficient team. Yeah,
That was me.
you were the most efficient this week. Yeah,
Yes.
heck yeah. Yeah, nice job for everybody though. Good week 4.
Well done. Week 5 on the way. Week 4 in the books. But let's go into those week 4 reviews.
Yeah.
First off, we had the first London game at 8:30 for us Central Time in the morning. Minnesota versus New Orleans. I guess New Orleans was considered the home team in that.
Oh, is
in
that
game?
Oh, because they're on the right hand side of the
Right.
score. Yeah.
Minnesota at New Orleans. That's kind of how I read that.
Okay.
But it was a great game, very fun. Kirkamus Cousins, he completed 25 of 38 for 273 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 1 long bomb for 40 plus yards.
Yeah.
Also conceding 3 sacks. He scored 19.17 points. After that, some big players for Minnesota. Dalvin Cook having 20 carries, 76 yards. Still no touchdowns, but getting 9.6 points.
You gotta love the 20 carries number though.
Absolutely.
That's gotta feel good.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook will get his touchdowns, though, at some point. They'll come. If you're getting 20 carries per game, that's going to happen.
Has to.
Yeah. Alexander Madison, not getting as many carries, not even close. 3 carries for 3 yards, but getting the touchdown with his 1 reception target.
Making them count.
Yeah, making his touches count. He's the best backup in the league by some say.
You think so? All right.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
If Dalvin Cook goes out, I'm playing Alexander Madison.
Oh, for sure.
Right. It's just like Herbert and Montgomery. If Montgomery's out, I'm playing Herbert.
Right.
The big points coming from Minnesota, fantasy-wise, is their wide receiving crew. Justin Jefferson, 1 carry for 3 yards and 1 touchdown. 10 for 13 on receptions for 147 yards and catching the big long bomb for 1 over 40 yards.
Bad numbers, man.
Yeah, scoring 28 points.
Oof.
He's good stuff. Right out. It's been great stuff. I like watching him play football.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
fun.
but he's kind of taken over. I mean, unfortunately, you got the next guy behind him. Thielen.
I do. Thielen, sometimes hard to trust, but he's been getting 9 targets the past few games.
Yeah.
But he got 9 targets this one, catching 8 of them for 72 yards.
Okay.
Not much happened after that. Herb Smith catching 3 of his 4 targets for 23 yards, getting his 5.3 points. We do not play kickers, but their kicker did make 5 field goals, scoring 17 points. That still shows up in our
15
information.
points through the uprights.
Woo! I mean, that's kickers outscoring quarterbacks in some of the, in our
And that's why I'm
leagues,
so glad we do not do kickers, because a kicker should not be outscoring a skill position in fantasy football.
Well, it is a skill position.
You know what I mean. Come on, bro.
But the Vikings following it up, allowing 25 points, but getting 2 sacks and recovering 2 of their forced fumbles, scoring 17.42 points.
Yeah. On the other side of that, Andy Dalton, you know, had an okay day, 20 for 28, 236 yards and a touchdown, added on a 2-point conversion. Lost the ball once, got hit twice. 16.74. I don't think he's a Chris Alex starter.
I don't think he's a starter yet in fantasy either.
No, I don't think.
Definitely.
Well, I'm just saying I don't think Chris Alex was forced to start him.
No.
This week.
Yeah.
Or last week, I mean.
Is Jameis Swinston still out for
this
next week?
I believe so, yeah.
Gotcha.
I think he's like
Did I read? I didn't
extremely
read that.
doubtful or something like that.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, yeah. But based on that, Latavius Murray had a pretty solid day. I mean, 11 carries, 57 yards, and a touchdown, though.
Yes. Brought up from the practice squad that week.
Yeah.
Then put back on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Then picked up by Denver.
He's been around.
He just got picked up by Denver.
He got bounced around.
I hope that's right. I'm having a crazy day.
But no, Latavius Murray, here, let me just look right here. Yeah, he's just been bouncing around. And yeah, I want to say Denver, that's right. I want to say he
did
went
get
to
picked up
Denver.
Denver. Yep,
Yeah.
got picked up from the practice squad because I think it's so much time expires after being put back on the practice squad. It's like claiming waivers.
Okay.
So he got picked up off the waivers
Yeah.
since he got, relegated back to the practice squad
Okay.
to go to Denver because, of
So wild.
Javonte Williams injury.
right. That's so wild. Like he scores a touchdown in New Orleans and 3-4 days later he's on the Denver team.
Yep.
Dude, that's wild. Yeah, Mark Ingram was there too. He's getting older. Didn't really do a whole lot. 13 yards in the air, 30 on the ground out of 10 carries. Not too great. But your guy, Mr. Olave, he had a touchdown, 4 out of 7 receptions and 67 yards. He got you 14.7.
Rookie of the year right there, bud.
Not too bad. He kind of overshadowed most of the other receivers with that touchdown. I mean, the only one owned in our league is Jarvis Landry, and I don't think I don't know. 2 out of 2 receptions, but only 7 yards, but he got a 2-yard conversion. He had a okay first game, and he hasn't really done a whole lot since then, so don't know if you're really leaning on Jarvis Landry a whole lot.
Right. It was just that week 1 performance that he really rocked it on.
Yeah, that was basically it. Old jack of all trades, Taysom Hill had a touchdown.
Yeah, get it.
5 carries and 21 yards as 5 carries for 21 yards and a rushing touchdown. He's a tight end who sometimes throws the ball.
I don't, right? I want to pick him up off the waiver wire, but I have no idea when to play him. So he'll just be riding the bench, and I'll be like, I could play him, but then he blows up or something happens.
Dude, he's the most interesting man in football right now, as far as I'm concerned.
So fun. I love it.
Like, he's playing today. What is he playing today?
Yeah.
Who knows, man? Maybe he's going to kick the ball this time.
Slotted in the tight end slot.
Yeah, that's awesome. Besides that, not a whole lot else happened on the Saints. The defense, your defense, it got an interception, but they had 28 points allowed. They did get 3 sacks, but ended the game with 8.8 in our league.
Right. One last thing about New Orleans, I read yesterday evening that OBJ is going over there. Did you see that?
Yeah. Now, didn't you mention something about OBJ coming back, or is that somebody else out of the Giants? I don't know.
Oh, I mentioned that last week that Saquon Barkley messaged him up.
Okay.
Called him up. Be like,
Okay.
hey, come back.
Okay, I'm not just making
Yes,
that up.
I brought that up last week's
Okay.
podcast.
Okay. So I did hear something about that, but no, I didn't realize. Oh, okay.
So he's out visiting other teams,
Interesting.
So the Rams didn't pick him back up, but that could still be a spot. Who knows? He's going to end up somewhere, though.
Right.
He's just taking his sweet time, doing him,
Yeah, doing him, I guess. That's what you got to do. Let's go to the Cleveland-Atlanta game. Atlanta ended up beating Cleveland 23-20. I believe I called that.
You
one.
did.
I called it because I thought Cordell Patterson was doing pretty well. I thought Mariota was doing okay, but not this game. Mariota only had 7 for 19 completions for 139 yards. He had an interception. He did have a plus 40 completion, But that's about it. No touchdowns in the air, 1 sack, not a whole lot on the ground, under 10 points. Tough day for Mariota. But that being said, the ground game was on fire. Tyler Algier for Melvin. 10 carries for 84 yards. One of those carries was a nice plus 40 carry. And then he had 20 yards in the air off of 1 catch. 12.9 for Melvin. Not too shabby. Caleb Huntley, Johnny's got him. He had a touchdown on the ground. 10 carries for 56. I mean, without the touchdown, it's okay. But, hey, that made the difference. And
Right.
I'm not sure when Patterson went out in this game, or when he stopped playing, or did he play sporadically throughout the whole thing?
I was unable to watch this game.
Okay. Either way, he only had 9 carries. He did make one of those carries count for a touchdown, only 38 yards. So not too bad for Daskell. But again, he is on an IR now, so that is a bummer. But based on the other 2 running backs, I think they might be okay.
They did get it done on the ground, that's for sure.
Yeah, Drake London didn't do a whole lot. And Zacchaeus, Alamad Zacchaeus? Not really sure. He was the one that got one of those plus 40 receptions from Mariota, but unfortunately, because Mariota wasn't doing a whole lot, the receivers and tight ends could not do a whole lot.
Usually how that works out.
Yeah, Falcons defense not owned our league, didn't really do a whole bunch either.
Do you want to say Drake London did have the opportunity? He got targeted 7 times.
He did, which is unfortunate because he only caught 2 of those targets. So I don't know. He had his good game. And he's had a couple bad games, or he's had 2 good games actually. Well, forget it. First week he got 9.9 as a rookie receiver.
I like that.
Heck yeah,
That's good.
So yeah, didn't do a whole lot this week, but I don't think it's anything to be concerned on. I think maybe it was, I don't know.
Yeah, going over to Cleveland, they might have lost the game, but they definitely put up better fantasy numbers across the board.
Yeah,
Jacoby Brissett having 21 of 35 completions for 234 yards, 1 interception, 1 long bomb.
yeah.
With 5 carries on the ground with 16 yards and 1 touchdown, producing 22.21 points.
Not bad.
Much better than the 7.61 points Marcus Mariota had.
Right.
Nick Chubb, still their reliable running back. He scored 19.7 points on our fantasy league with 19 carries, over 100 yards with 118, 1 touchdown, catching 2 of 3 passes. Followed up by Kareem Hunt with 10 carries, 49 yards, 2 out of 3 receptions as well for 19 yards.
I don't think I can play Kareem Hunt anymore.
That was about to be my question for you.
I just don't think. I mean, Nick Chubb is a very good running back, and I don't think it's Kareem Hunt's time. And it's not like he's getting opportunities. I just don't think he's getting the right opportunities. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I just don't think he's a flex play for me anymore.
Yeah, taking him off,
Yeah.
riding the bench.
I took him out this week. Again, he was one of the moves I made to bring in an extra tight end with Gerald Everett and Rashad Penny.
Yeah, Everett's a good play. On to the wide receivers for Cleveland. Amari Cooper, as Johnny would say, crashed back to earth. With 1 of 4 receptions for 9 yards after going off the past 2 games, only getting 1.4 points.
Yeah.
Peoples-Jones was the one to show up that game, catching 5 of 9 for 71 yards and 1 long bomb, getting 12.3 points on my taxi squad. And David Bell catching 2 of 3 for 35 yards. Next up for tight ends for Cleveland, Njoku. He had 1 carry for -6 yards and a fumble. I think that was his fumble, was his carry.
I would hope so.
But he caught 5 of 7 for 73. I am considering putting Njoku in on the flex.
Really?
On a weekly basis.
Nice.
Just it's a thought that I do think about.
I mean, last week you got 23.
Yeah.
I mean, this week 9. I guess, it all comes down to who they're playing in the script.
Right.
They're playing the Chargers at home. Maybe a high-scoring game. Who knows?
Ooh, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me to tinker on the podcast.
Yeah, you're playing Dan. You're playing Dan. So
well, I had a horrible showing on Thursday, but we'll cover that later. Cleveland Browns having 1 interception, allowing 23 points, and only getting 1 sack, scoring 10.06 points on our team.
Yeah, my notes here is Cleveland. They just had red zone blues, man. They kept getting down there. Like I said, the points For fantasy, you would think they would have won the game, but they kept getting down the field, and then red zone would come, and then Nick Chubb was the only one that could do anything, apparently.
Right.
Because he's the only one that the only touchdown on the day was Nick Chubb,
Just
right?
gotta, give it to him in the red zone, right?
Yeah, so they just got to finish the drive.
Next up, we have a Buffalo defeating Baltimore.
Buff ball.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
Buffalo defeating Baltimore 23-20.
Yes.
That was a very exciting game to watch, and I watched the highlights for that. I guess Baltimore has a running back, but whatever. Per the notes.
I literally typed out that whole phrase, but whatever.
I guess Baltimore has a running back, but whatever.
Oh boy.
Hey, and they sure do.
But
J.K.
they didn't have enough to
Dobbins
win the game,
do
so
it. That's tough. So there's been a lot of tough games with clock management, and Buffalo got it right this time.
yeah, they sure did.
So Josh Allen, not hitting his projection though, scoring only 28.27 of his 35 points projected, completing 19 of 36 passes for 213 yards, a touchdown, interception, but also adding 11 carries for 70 yards, a touchdown, and 1 sack.
I will say this. Week 1, Josh Allen 47, and then week 2 and on 43, 33, 28. Just a slow
Teams are figuring them out.
2 through 4, and then hopefully we're going to see another pick back, just a roller coaster. You got to go down, right, to get a little speed to pick back up.
The inertia of it all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So hang in there, King of the North. You got it.
Yeah. No, there's going to be highs. There's going to be lows.
Yeah.
That's fantasy football.
And you're playing a Baltimore defense, so.
Yes. Also a really good team. I think I picked Baltimore to win that, so I was a little sour when
did.
when they did. Man. And they almost had it.
Yeah, they did.
They almost had it. Devin Singletary coming in with 11 carries as well, just like Josh Allen, producing 49 yards, catching 4 or 5 targets for 47, but losing a fumble, scoring 9.6 points, almost his projection of 10.5. Zach Moss not really used.
No.
Just like Jay Cook,
Yeah.
the rookie not being used at all.
Nope.
McKenzie showing up as the leaderboard for their wide receivers. Their slot man caught 4 of 6 for 21 yards and 1 touchdown. Stephon Diggs for Johnny crashing back to earth with 8.2 points. Projected 18 though.
Oof.
Shakir, Jameson Crowder, I think got injured that game, and Gabe Davis,
Yeah.
quiet as well with only 1.
Well, I think he was he dealing with some injury stuff too as well?
Davis was, he was
Thought I remember hearing something
questionable
about that.
going in, but
Yeah.
he did end up playing.
So it makes sense.
Dawson Knox, their tight end, catching 3 of 6 for 40 yards.
Yeah. I will say, I think that Isaiah McKenzie touchdown before the half is what turned that game around for Buffalo.
I agree with that.
And then it was kind of Buffalo's.
Because it seemed like a
deal.
Baltimore game, that entire game.
It did. And, numbers wise, it basically the same. Lamar Jackson did not have his best day. 20 for 29 completions. Only 144 yards in the air with a touchdown. He did throw 2 interceptions though. So yeah, that was tough. 11 carries, only 73 yards. Didn't break 100 yards. Poor Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
He was hit 2 times, only put up 18 points. He was projected to get 30. So that was a bit of a hit for Mile High. I mean, obviously he's been one of the reasons Mile High's been scoring so many points the past few weeks. So
Because he has the potential.
yeah, but apparently they leaned on J.K. Dobbins.
Old Dobbins, he's back.
He's back. 13
He's
carries,
back.
41 yards, and a touchdown. He also had a perfect day in the air, 4 for 4 receptions for 22 yards, and another touchdown. 20.3 points for Beetle.
Getting it.
Got it. So I guess I will eat my words. Justice Hill, who is out this week now, also had 8 carries for 45 yards, 2 receptions in the air for 12 yards. Devernay still scoring points. I only see the 51 yards in the air off of the 4 out of 5 receptions, but
He also had 40 kick return yards.
Okay.
For 4 points. So
Okay.
there's an extra 4 points added on there.
perfect. So he had 11.1 for Johnny. I think Johnny is starting him. I mean, he's in his lineup as of right now, so he might be starting him. I lost our little thing here. Besides that, Mark Andrews did not have a day. Only 15 yards, 2 out of 5 receptions, no touchdowns. Poor Mark Andrews.
Crashed back to earth. I gotta stop doing
the
that.
Week 4 crashes. And the Ravens, they put up 11.6. Pretty average defense day.
Right. Across the board.
Yeah. After that, we've got the Washington-Dallas game. Man, I really thought Washington was going to win, but Dallas is winning games with Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush is the real deal.
Apparently. But they are paying Dak Prescott millions and millions of dollars, so he will play at some point again this season.
I think that's perfect trade bait.
For Dan?
No, for actual football.
For the real.
Ship him, get rid of the cap. You got Cooper Rush. He's winning you football games.
Yeah, he really is. This game, 15 out of 27. You want a little bit better receptions or completion rate than that, but 223 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a completion for over 40.
Mm-hmm.
A couple carries on the ground. He took a sack. 22.3, but he helped win the game for the Cowboys. So
Cowboys 3-1.
Unbelievable. I didn't see that coming.
Me neither.
Ezekiel Elliott, 19 carries on the ground for 49 yards, 2 receptions in the air for 32. Put 9.1 up. He's just been under projecting these days.
That's just what you get. That's good points. It's just what you get when you don't score a touchdown.
Right. Exactly. That's the difference a touchdown can make between 9.1 and 15.
Exactly.
Tony Pollard did not do anything on Dan's team. I think he actually had him starting last week.
No, they got this done through the air.
Yeah, it was. And that brings us on to CeeDee Lamb, who is on Dan's team, and I believe he did start him. 6 out of 8 receptions, 97 yards, and 1 touchdown. Man, he wishes he would have got those extra 3 yards, but 18.7 ain't too shabby.
Not at all.
Overprojected. Noah Brown, he had a big completion. He put 61 yards in the air, caught half of his receptions, 3 out of 6. Michael Gallup, he had another touchdown, only did 24 yards in the air, but 1 touchdown, 9.4.
Right. Welcome back.
Yeah.
He's finally back and he's scoring touchdowns. That's exactly, if you're a Gallup owner, exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, you'd love to see it. And the Dallas Cowboys, I guess the Dallas Cowboys are helping this team win games. 17.7, it's not bad. It's underprojected, but they only allowed 10 points. They had 2 sacks, 2 interceptions.
Yeah. And going to Washington, there's not a whole lot to talk about, to be honest, with scoring only 10 points. Carson Wentz only getting 13 fantasy points.
Right.
Gibson having his first game, Antonio Gibson, that is, first game not getting a touchdown.
Yeah.
Only scoring 7 points. With sharing time with McKissick, only getting 7 points. Dotson, the main bright spot, catching the lone touchdown. He went 3 for 4 for 43 yards touchdown, scoring 11.
The only person
points.
on that team besides Carson Wentz to score over 10 points in our fantasy league.
Right.
And the defense, but you start with 10 points in the defense.
Exactly.
So that's a wash.
That's not. They got their points that they started with, but yeah. All in all, Washington did not put up a very good game. Dallas showing up, being 3-1.
Curtis Samuel. It was not the Curtis Samuel week. It was the Deebo Samuel week, and we will get to that game.
Heck yeah, we will. But let's move right along to the highest scoring game of the week.
Man.
With 93 points.
Man.
Seattle eking by Detroit. Fun fact about Detroit before we get into all the points, that they lead the league in scores, right? And points.
Right.
They have 140 points. That's 11 more points more than the second place of Kansas City.
That's crazy. And they're 1-3.
They're 1-3. They're I have a note here. I'm just like, it reminds me kind of Chris Alex's team this year. Sorry, Chris Alex. You are the Detroit Lions of our league this year. A really good team that everybody should be worried about.
Yeah.
You are the top 6 scorer in our league, but is winless. Like, you are 2 points from being a top 5 scorer in our league.
That's crazy.
With points scored, but without a win.
That's a bummer, man. Yeah, scoring a lot of points. That's a That's a fun fact about the Lions that they're the highest scoring in the league right now.
Yeah, they're just setting records. I think they
Lowest scoring
at
is
some point they got to start winning, right?
Oh yeah. Well, your boys at Indy are the lowest scoring with only 57 points scored over the last 4 games.
Yeah, but they have a better record than Detroit.
Oh yeah.
They have.
Do they?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they do.
I think they're 3-2.
Bummer. Bummer.
Oh no, they're 2-2-1.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Indy is 1-2-1.
Oh, okay.
So they haven't lost as many games as the Lions, but they've won the same amount. So okay.
So that's just funny to me. The least scoring team is doing better than the highest scoring team in football.
Yuck.
But anyways, so Seattle winning that. Geno Smith going off, over projecting, getting almost 40 points at 39.45 with 23 of 30 completions, 320 yards in the air, one big bomb for over 40, but also putting 49 yards on the ground with a touchdown with 7 carries.
Huge day.
Huge day. Another huge day was for Rashad Penny.
Oh man.
Showed up. He's in your starting lineup now, right?
He was last week. Like I said, I plugged him in, not last minute, but I plugged him in Saturday.
Yeah, he had 17 carries for 151 yards, 2 touchdowns, and one of those touchdowns being an over 40-yard rush.
Johnny was not happy.
In the garbage time. He scored 36.2 points in our league. Other big notables, DK Metcalf scoring 20.4 points, catching 7 of his 10 targets for a whopping 149 yards, and 1 big bomb. Tyler Lockett right behind him, catching 6 of 8 for 91 yards for 10 points. He also lost a fumble, but I think that was on a kickoff.
Was it?
I think he muffed a punt.
Oh, okay. Muffed a punt. That sounds dirty.
A punt.
That's a nice one too for Geno to have though. Lockett and Metcalf.
Yeah,
that's a nice. It's not as good as like your Hill and Waddle in Miami, but it is a nice double.
Yeah,
double threat.
I think that's one of the reasons why Daskell is up in the league right now.
Yeah,
is that connection that's going on.
Yeah, I'll agree to that. You're not going to talk about Will Disley? He had a touchdown.
Oh, did I miss that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the tight end Will Disley, currently unowned. That's why I didn't talk about him.
Oh, okay.
Probably.
That's why. That's my fault. We're trying to only keep it to people that we own, but I mean, if you need a tight end, I mean,
Disley's on the board.
Of the last 4 weeks, he's scored 13, and then he had a 2 game, but then 12 and 13.
So that's his ceiling. That's his floor. So he's pretty risky in my opinion.
Sure.
He's very touchdown dependent.
Yeah.
If he doesn't score a touchdown, he's only getting 4 catches for 39 yards.
For sure.
Which is 5 points.
Yeah. Okay. I see that.
You know what I mean?
But if you're in a pinch,
right?
Maybe
a bye week issue. You know. I'm a little surprised. I've been looking at him. He's up in our trending right now.
Well, maybe that Geno Smith's getting a little bit more confidence around the league. Maybe his value will start going up too. Right, people will start taking notice.
But when you score 48 points, there's going to be touchdowns somewhere.
Yeah. If we want to talk about the other side, then Lions. Jared Goff, he had a good game. I mean, 26 out of 39, 378 yards in the air, and 4 touchdowns.
Goff is getting
This is why the Lions are scoring points, because they do stuff like this. I mean, 4 touchdowns is huge. He had a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
One of his completions, of course, was over 40. He had an interception, but when you throw the ball for a ton of yards, you might have an interception. Running game, Jamal Williams. I mean,
doing it, dude.
My God, 19 carries for 108 yards. One of those rushes was a 40-plus touchdown, and the other one was just a regular touchdown.
Yeah. I
mean, come on. But then, if that wasn't enough, he decided to catch one. Never mind. That was Jackson. But 31.4 on the day for Melvin. Huge day.
Big running back gains for the backup running back.
Yeah, Justin Jackson had a touchdown in the air, but nobody owns them in our league, so who cares? Josh Reynolds, though, is owned by Johnny. 7 for 8, 81 yards, and a touchdown, 17.6. Not too shabby.
Johnny's the wide receiver whisperer, man.
He is. He's got Hill. He's got him. He's got some options.
Yes.
And then, of course, we come to your guy.
I'm hoping for a week 5 like this. This will save me.
Oh,
This will save me. I will win this week if Hawkinson scores like he did this past week.
8 for 12 for 179 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion, and a plus 40 reception. 41.9. That's gross.
Woo!
Gross numbers.
Let's get it. I love it.
But then the Lions defense, pooped the bed because they like to let people score against them.
Right, but they also, I mean, if you look at this, they didn't have any interceptions. They had no sacks.
Right.
They didn't do anything. Did they have any return yards? They had 4 tackle for losses. They did have a special teams forced fumble and recovery.
Okay.
And 62 return yards.
Okay. Well, if we're going to move on, let's go to the Chargers and Texans game. Chargers beat the Texans. I believe we probably both called this one for the Chargers.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. Herbert, always kind of worried about his injury. Didn't seem to affect him. 27 for 39, 340 yards in the air, 2 touchdowns. He's a very good quarterback, and it's going to be hard to let him go.
Reiterating for all those people trying to, I guess, get trade for him.
It's going to be hard to let him go. Well, people ask me all the time. I mean, you ask me on here all the time, what would it take to get, I think a couple podcasts you asked, what would it take to trade Herbert? A lot. It'll take a lot.
What would it take to trade Garoppolo?
Oh, not as much. But, I mean, he had 28 points for me on the day. Not too bad. Austin Eckler showing up. Whoa, 13 carries, 60 yards with 2 touchdowns. He also had 6 out of 7 receptions for 49 yards and another touchdown.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns total for Eckler. He finally did what he was supposed to, because I feel it's been a pretty slow year for Eckler.
Yeah.
Up until this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he had a hell of a one. I mean, 31.9. That's huge. He was the only running back to really do anything. You had a pretty decent day with Mike Williams. 7 for 11, 120 in the air. Didn't have a touchdown, but one of the receptions was over 40, so that's why you had 17.
That's fine, and touchdowns will happen.
Yeah, and that would have added, I mean, you would have ended with 23, so, I mean, it's Mike Williams. While Keenan Allen is out, it seems like he's
their number one.
He's the one benefiting more. I mean, Gerald Everett is there, 17 points. He had a touchdown, off of 61 yards in the air.
Oh, yeah.
He's a sneaky little guy that I've just kind of had, and it's been very nice. He's been my number 2 tight end in my flex.
That's a great play.
Behind
He's scoring
Goddard.
points every week.
It's nice. And those tight ends, we've got that.
Definitely trusted in the red zone.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah, that's great news for any tight end.
It's solid. And the Chargers defense with Daskell, 2 interceptions and 4 sacks. Not too shabby on Mill for taking Mills down there.
I do want to throw out DeAndre Carter scoring 9 points. Not quite, reaching his forecasted score, but he did. He's their return man, so he's out there scoring points. I thought that was a great pickup by Melvin.
Yeah,
but he's reliably scoring 5 to 6 points every game in just return yards.
So just return yards.
Anytime he's getting the ball, they're doing it.
Yeah, because he had close to 10 this week.
Right.
Yeah, if he hadn't lost that fumble, he would have had 10.
Absolutely. Let's go to Houston. They are 0-3-1. Womp womp. But they're still putting up very decent numbers.
Oh.
For Raul, Davis Mills put up 20.34 points, completing 26 of 35 passes for 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, but giving up 2 interceptions, 4 sacks, but also completing 1 40-plus, pass.
Yeah.
That threw me off because of Kay Allen over there. Never mind. We can edit that out. But Dameon Pierce for you showed up. 30.9 points. He is just getting better, right?
Every game, first game 4, then 8, then 17, and the last week was 30. So again, he's going to go down. I mean, he can't always keep getting better, but it's nice we're finding where his floor is going to be at.
Right.
And the fact that it keeps going up makes me more excited that his floor is going to be higher than maybe I thought it was going to be.
I mean, just the way this reads, it really looks like he is one of the focal points of their offense.
Yeah.
Rex Burkhead doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
No rushes for this running back, but he did catch 5 for 5 targets for 39 yards and a touchdown. Brandon Cooks, the number 1 receiver over in Houston, caught 7 of 7, a perfect game for him with 57 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Mile High, has to be pretty happy with that. And, the defense giving up 34 points, only doing 1 sack, it looks like. Not the best showing for that.
No. Texas D, not what they used to be.
Moving on to what I thought was also a pretty boring game. I don't know why, but Indy has been very boring to me.
Because they didn't have any score in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
It was a scoreless fourth quarter.
A scoreless fourth quarter.
I think so. That's what I put in my notes after I watched the highlights.
And lots of turnovers for Indy.
Yeah.
So Matt Ryan really turned over the ball going on over there. But Ryan Tannehill, not quite getting projection. He went 15.63 points out of 21, completing 17 of 21 passes, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns, with 5 carries on the ground for 9 yards. Not too bad. Derrick Henry, of course, their workhorse.
Oh, yeah.
He got 22 carries for 114 yards and a touchdown, and secured 3 of his 5 passes for 33 yards.
Last 2 games, he's just been back to where he used to be.
Yeah. Treylon Burks is out now.
Ugh.
He's put on the IR. He only had 1 carry for 4 yards and 2 for 3 in the air. But Robert Woods is going to be the clear number 1, right?
Yeah.
He's
You
going
would
to be
imagine.
He's going to be the new number 1 over there.
Yeah. And he's been getting, he's the last couple weeks has, been better for him too. So,
Yeah, he went 4 for 4 this week for 30 yards and a touchdown. Beat his projection. He got 11 points out of 10 projection, which is really good.
yeah.
Also notables for that team. Nobody owns this guy, but Okonkwo. He went 3 for 3.
Yeah, Chigozium on Conquo.
Yes. Yeah, you got it right. Man, that's good. Blew up.
Got a
Only
touchdown.
projected 2 points. Scored 12.8.
Yeah, had a touchdown.
Had a touchdown with 3 receivings, for 38 yards.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
he's
You
a
think
rookie.
He's going to get picked up?
Probably not.
No?
Nah,
Not
I
even
can't,
for a
man.
taxi squad?
Yeah, maybe.
Just a thought out there, guys, who's
Yeah,
ever
for sure.
listening. Spend some of your hard-earned money on this guy.
Yeah. Other side, Matt Ryan. He had an okay day. I mean, put 356 yards in the air. 27 out of 37, 2 touchdowns. He had an interception, but he did have a plus 40 completion. Did lose the football, probably I think on that negative 4 yard or however many yards that carry was. He had 2 carries for negative 4 yards, and he got hit 3 times. I mean, the Tennessee defense was pretty solid. So
Yeah, they shut down the run game
yeah.
real bad.
I mean, Taylor nor Hines did just anything for Beetle or you.
No.
Not that you were playing Hines,
No.
but Beetle definitely was playing Taylor. And poopy day, 20 carries, only 42 yards, and a fumble loss. But in the air, a little bit better. Alec Pierce, who
here.
is a rookie. What'd you
Rookie,
say?
he's here.
I thought you said, who's he?
No, he's here. He's yeah.
Is he one of the reasons why Indy was on your radar? Or just...
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really thought Matt Ryan was going to elevate that team. It's
Yeah.
not quite happening.
Yeah, it's early. It's only week. It was now it's week 5, but yeah, Pierce 4 for 6 in the air, 80 yards, and one of those receptions was plus 40, so he had 12 points. Michael Pittman under projecting a lot, unfortunately, by 10. Did not have his best day, but Mo Alley Cox had a really good day instead.
Yeah, really blew up that game.
Yeah, 6 out of 6 for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns
Really blew up that
for
game.
Raul.
Good for him.
Yeah, decent, darn decent. And this is Granson guy also had an okay day as far as numbers are concerned.
Yeah,
but
he's
not
up there.
owned.
He was the rookie last year.
Okay,
He was drafted last year. I had him on my taxi squad. I eventually got rid of him to make some room.
gotcha.
Because I needed to.
And the Colts defense had a bummer day. So let's move on to another bummer game for me, and probably a few of other of the fellows is the Chicago New York Giants game. Ugh. Giants won 20-12. Daniel Jones got 2 rushing touchdowns in this game. Chicago defense is so bad, we just let Daniel Jones run all over us into the end zone, apparently.
Just, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
8
it
out of
looks like-
13 completions for Daniel Jones, only 71 yards in the air. I mean, if he hadn't had those 2 touchdowns, he would not have a very good day.
No, he'd be around 8 points just like Justin Fields.
Yeah. So it was those 2 rushing touchdowns that really did it for him. Saquon Barkley, of course, against the Chicago defense. He had a great time. 31 carries for 146 yards.
Carries.
That's a big number for a running back.
Holy cow. Dude, my jaw dropped when I read that stat. Wow, 31 carries. That's the football game.
That's why Daniel Jones only threw for 13 threw 13 times.
Yeah, they relied. Maybe that's one of the keys to beating the Bears.
That is the key to beating the Bears. He also had 2 receptions for 16 yards, but it's all. And he had 17.2 points without a touchdown. That's what's crazy. You had one of Daniel Jones' 2 touchdowns to Saquon Barkley. He's sitting at 23 points for the day.
Right.
But still, Chris Alex has got him. I hope he doesn't have the same game this week. But because of that, the receivers for the Giants did absolutely nothing. Nobody broke higher than 1.6, and if we're putting the tight ends in there, nobody got higher than 6 points.
No. Well, he only threw the ball 13 times.
True.
That's how that's going to translate.
Yeah. The other star of the team was the defense for the Giants. They had 29.82 in our league, 6 sacks. That does a lot.
Yes.
That's 12 points right there. Is it 2 for the defense?
3 fumble recoveries.
Yeah.
Are
the sacks 2 points for the defense, or is it still just 1?
I think it's just 1 point.
Is it just 1?
Yes.
Still, though, the 6 sacks and 3
That's
fumble
6
recoveries. Yeah. And then you had the 3 fumble recoveries. That's almost 10 points, 9 points. Yeah, great day for the Giants. Bears are poopy.
Yeah. Speaking of the Bears, they're just poopy. But, Justin Fields did not show up. He completed only 50% of his passes. He went 11 of 22. 174 yards. He did have 1 bomb over 40 yards.
Yeah.
A lost fumble. Of course, the 6 sacks. That's negative 6 points for him right there.
Yeah.
7 carries for 52 yards. Not a lot going on.
No.
Herbert had the 19 carries. I played him. I thought, the week before he had 32 points. So, they just, the defense just showed up. Darnell Mooney, 4 for 5 for 94 yards for you.
Yeah, I think
that's probably his best game so far.
It's best game. He hasn't scored more than 3.3 until this past week.
So
he's been, and of course, this is the week I put him on bench, but whatever. He deserved to be there. So
yes, so absolutely. If he's only scoring 2 points, but he finally showed up this time. I think with him, was it N'Keal Harry coming back?
Mm-hmm.
That he might take a hit even more so.
Yeah,
but we'll see. It's the Bears. They're not passing. No. Cole Kmet, 3 for 3. He's out there on the waiver wire.
Yeah,
and the Chicago Bears, 16.66 points.
Yeah,
out of 24.
I got him.
So that's still a respectable number.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I wish we would have played New England this past week, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. Next up, we have Philadelphia beating Jacksonville.
Yeah.
For what was a fun game to start.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Jacksonville, and then they just disappeared, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It says here that we watched 42 minutes of football between the Jacksonville's last 2 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, I think they were the quick 2 in the beginning, and then it was 42 and a half minutes of them not scoring until it had to be in the fourth quarter again. So they sat at 14, I think, for most of the game. Not good.
Yeah. Philly, still undefeated, 4-0.
Yeah.
Got it done on the ground. Jalen Hurts, not quite there. He had the pick 6. He went 16 for 25 for 204 yards, only getting 14 fantasy points out of 30.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders, who rode the bench for Daskell, scoring 28.6. He had 27 carries himself.
Not bad.
For 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. He went 2 for 3 in the air for 22 yards. But, with those 27 carries, there was still enough for Kenneth Gainwell to get 5 carries.
And a touchdown.
So Philly's doing it, putting it in the hands of their playmakers.
Oh, boy.
And one of them, A.J. Brown, went 5 for 7 for 95 yards.
Mm-hmm.
He went scoreless, but still got 12 points.
You had a touchdown if you'd have got one.
That's definitely respectable. And, Goddard.
Yeah.
5 for 6 for 72.
Yeah.
Did you play Goddard?
Always. He's my number one tight end. He's my
end?
starting. It was Gerald Everett who was kind of my backup tight end. And then I'm like, dude, this dude's scoring points. And with our settings, a tight end is very valuable. So It's like, dude, I should be starting this guy as well. So
awesome. And then the Eagles defense showing up again. but I have him benched this week. That might change.
You played him last week, though.
Yes, I did.
Good.
Scoring 27.96 points. They are officially the number one defense in fantasy football right now.
Yeah, they are very good. They took it to the Jacksonville. I mean, it started being really rainy. And I think that's when Trevor Lawrence started losing the ball. I mean, just butterfingers.
Just little melty butterfingers. Slapping around on the field.
I mean, he went 11 for 23, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns. You know, he had a plus 40 completion, but then those 4 fumble losts, that's the worst part of those stats.
Oh, man.
And, 4 sacks, 4 fumble losts, they correlate, maybe. I'm not sure every one of those sacks was for a fumble, but that's tough. And again, it was very rainy. But, yeah, only getting 7.41 for Beadle, that is tough.
With 5 turnovers, you would think the score would be higher.
You would think so.
So, kudos to Jacksonville defense for keeping them in that game.
Right. And, you would think the rain would make it a ground game. Like for the Eagles, they did all the work on the ground, but Jacksonville did next to nothing on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think they broke 100 yards between their 3 running backs on the ground. 32, 22, and 29 for the 3 running backs.
Nope, not even close. Etienne outrunning Robinson, it looks like.
Yeah.
They split carries, but yeah.
Yeah, he got about 3 more yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, terrible. Agnew, though, Jamal Agnew for Daskell, he had a pretty okay day, 50 yards in the air out of 4 for 6 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Those were the 2. The 2 in the air from Lawrence. The third one was the pick 6. That's right, because I lost a touchdown somewhere there.
Yeah,
I was like, wait a minute, I know there was 3 touchdowns. So yeah, the 2 in the air were going to Agnew, 26.8, not too bad. Christian Kirk still had a decent day though because of that plus 40 reception. 60 yards in the air, 2 out of 9 receptions. It was a rainy day. What are you gonna do? 9.3 points for him, and then the Jaguars defense didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, they had an interception, 2 sacks, and then they pick 6.
They overprojected.
Yeah, I guess they did. I guess I'm reading that wrong. Yeah.
Not the rainiest game of football we watched.
No.
Definitely, I feel like the Chicago Bears and San Francisco week 1 was the rainiest game of football of the season so far.
I feel like that was a more fun game to watch, but yeah. Moving on, we'll go to the New Jersey-Pittsburgh game. This is the only game that we did not pick correctly between the 2 of us.
Oh, this is our one loss.
This is one loss. We both picked Pittsburgh, and obviously the Jets won this game. So, yeah. Out of all of our picks, we had last week was one we had the most differences.
Right.
But again, we only lost one of them for both, so not too bad.
Yeah, we're just getting better.
Yeah. Just like the Jets, apparently. Zach Wilson, 18 for 36, 252 yards, and a touchdown. He did have 2 interceptions, but he did catch a touchdown, so that's always fun. He had 1 reception for 2 yards and a touchdown off a trick play.
Super fun. Love when quarterbacks catch a touchdown.
Yeah.
I know he didn't throw it to himself, but that's just how I envision it. He throws it up in the air and just runs and then catches it.
Classic cartoon play.
Oh, yeah. That's just how I see it in my head.
I'm trying to figure out who actually ended up throwing him the ball, but I'm not going to take the time to try to figure it out now. But yeah, he had a decent game, 23 points for Dan. Breece Hall on the ground, 14.8, just steadily being kind of the main back over Michael Carter for this offense here.
Right. He's definitely, they drafted him to be the number 1 there.
Yeah.
But they definitely have a good 1-2 punch. But I do want to let you know it was Braxton Berrios who had the completion touchdown.
Oh, he's the one that threw?
He's the one that threw it to Zach Wilson.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I like this, man.
I
can riff while you look some stuff up. That's perfect. Breece Hall, 66 yards off of 17 carries, 2 out of 6 receptions for 12 yards, 14.8. Michael Carter, like we said, did not do a whole lot with his 9 carries. Only got 15 yards, 14 yards in the air. Not great. Corey Davis, 5 for 6, 74 yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like he's been kind of, up and down. Had a kind of off week last week, but part of the reason why the Jets are 2-2, I think.
Right. No, he's 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on.
Yeah.
That can't last.
No.
That can't be. You can't predict stuff like that.
No, you really can't. Elijah Moore, again, he's another kind of middling guy. He had 3 out of 4 receptions for 53, only 7 points in our league. And really, that's about it for the Jets. Tyler Conklin didn't do a whole lot. Oh, I mean, I guess he did. He had 52 yards. He had 8.2. You get a touchdown, and he's in that.
He's up there.
For sure.
He's in a top 10
For sure.
tight end area. Big news for Pittsburgh, though.
Yeah.
Trubisky replaced by Pickett. It's time for the rookies, right?
I guess.
Pickett to Pickens.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Pickett, that was messing me up.
Pickens.
Yeah, Pickens and Pickett. Yeah, that was messing me up watching the highlights of that.
This is who is who.
Yeah.
These white boys. But Kenny Pickett coming in to replace Trubisky. Trubisky only getting 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
Completing only 7 for 13. But Pickett doing 10 for 13 for 120 yards. Running it in for 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
But also giving up 3 interceptions. Probably why they lost the game.
Now, I want to talk about these 3 interceptions because, honestly, I really don't think any of them are his fault.
No?
The first one, it was a tip-off for receiver's hands that receiver should have caught and went right in the hands of the defender. That should have been a caught ball.
Yeah.
Okay, the second one, it was a little wide. Okay, a little wide. It wasn't like it was he was throwing an inside shoulder and the receiver was expecting an outside shoulder pass. It was just a little wide, but within the route, right? As a NFL receiver, you should be able to make those little minute adjustments. Again, you're not turning over a shoulder, right?
All right.
So again, it was bounced off his fingers into a defender's hand.
Yeah.
And the last interception was the very last one of the game. It was a game-winning Hail Mary into the end zone,
Right.
into 6 guys. Half the time, it's going to be an interception.
I feel like more than half the time it's a Hail Mary never goes your way.
Right. So the 3 interceptions is, I think, a very distracting stat for this gentleman right here. Because again, interceptions, you lose 2 points on those, or is it just 1?
It's just 1 point.
Okay, is it?
But you lose a touchdown. It's just 1 point, but you do lose a touchdown on a pick 6.
Okay.
Yeah, so it like negates a whole touchdown.
I got you.
because you give away a touchdown. You threw the wrong touchdown.
For sure. So I just want to throw that in there about Pickett. Don't let those 3
I think
interceptions
it was
fool
it
you.
was a great rookie round draft pick by Chris Alex. I mean, he had to get rid of Big Ben
Oh yeah,
because he retired. So he picked up the replacement.
yeah.
Right.
Smart.
So yeah, that's gonna be great for him. Other than that, Najee Harris only 18 carries for 74 yards.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I just got a fantasy alert. Raiders wide receiver Hunter Renfrow is off the injury report,
Oh hey,
so he's good to go. He passed his concussion protocol.
good news for the Raiders.
Good news for the NFL, right?
Oh yeah, that's
Just
true.
let's pass the protocols before
before we play.
before we play them.
That's good.
So Najee Harris only scoring 7.4 of his 14 projected points. Pickens, the rookie wide receiver, Pickett to Pickens.
Yeah.
He caught 6 of 8 for 102 yards for 13.2 points. That is his best game today.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my thought. Sorry.
Pat Fairmouth.
Pat Fairmouth, 7 for 9 for 85 yards.
Yeah, he's a decent tight end. Decent tight end.
Yeah. Other than that, they lost the game. Pittsburgh is now 1-3. The Jets are 2-2. It's hard to trust Pittsburgh, but that may change now that Pickett is out there.
Yeah.
So let's see what Pittsburgh can do. Moving right along, we have Arizona defeating Carolina 26-16.
Mm-hmm.
It says here the Cards have only won on the road.
Yeah, I noticed that fun little thing. That's what I going back and look at the games. Yeah, they've only won on the road. Their home games they keep losing. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah, no home field advantage. That's what that
Right.
means.
So that definitely affects my picks for this week.
Right. Yeah.
But,
It could.
yeah, they have not won a home game.
Yeah. Well, that might change this week. We'll see. I haven't made my picks yet.
Yeah.
I'll be making my picks live
Yeah.
on air for us, not for you guys.
You guys will hear it
Yeah.
later.
So, but Kyler Murray completing 23 of 32 for 207 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He also had 12 carries for 26 yards and a touchdown, scoring 24 of his 27 projected points. Benjamin coming out as the top running back, fantasy-wise.
Fantasy-wise, yeah.
With 5 carries for 36 yards. 10 less carries than James Conner. Mm-hmm. He had 15 carries for 55 yards and 3 receptions for 22.
So he must have had some return yards, because he definitely has less receiving and rushing yards than Conner, but he
did have 43 kick return yards.
There it is.
Yep, that'll do it. Gotta love these dual players. Hey, man, if you're putting in the work, you're gonna be getting points.
Versatile.
That's how I see it. Marquise Brown, still killing it over there.
Yeah.
He's their number one up until Hopkins comes back for sure. He had 6 of 11 for 88 yards and a touchdown. Dortch crashed back down to earth for 1 reception for 6 yards. And Rondale Moore not doing much better than that. Zach Ertz, however, their tight end, he went a perfect game, 6 for 6 for 47 yards and a touchdown.
Gotta love that.
Heck yeah. And the Cardinals defense, having 2 interceptions, only allowing 10 points and getting 2 sacks.
Yeah, not too terrible. Carolina, Baker Mayfield, not the best day. 22 out of 36, only 197 yards. He did have a touchdown, though, but again, he had those 2 interceptions, and he lost a fumble while getting hit twice. So 11 points for fantasy, not the best. But you do have Christian McCaffrey, and he's starting to be an old school McCaffrey a la 3-4 years ago. I mean, only 8 carries, but he did have perfect 9 for 9 receptions, 81 yards, and a touchdown. So that's what you're going to get out of Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, solid stats.
Chris Alex got him. He had 21 points on the week. Not too bad. Other than that, though, unfortunately, DJ Moore was the only other kind of star of the receiving core. He ran the ball for 11 yards, 6 for 11 receptions for only 50 yards. He did have 9.1. But other than that, Robbie Anderson and Chenault did next to nothing. And old Tommy Trumbull, Tommy Trumbull, tight end. Only 3 out of 6 for 34 yards. A lot of 50% receiving stats for some of these receivers. The Panthers defense scored a lot more than, anybody on the team? Yes, anybody on the team by 0.8 or 0.08 points. 21 points in our league. Maybe somebody should pick them up. They did have a pick 6 or a fumble recovery for touchdown. Not sure which one.
Carolina Panthers putting up points.
Yeah, and they are on the waiver wire, so don't know if they should be, but I really thought Carolina was going to win that game, but I was wrong.
Yeah, yes, you were.
Let's go to the New England Green Bay game. We both picked Green Bay to win this game.
Yes.
Which I wasn't sure if they were going to for a while. That was interesting. Brian Hoyer got injured, so they had a backup quarterback, but they still, put Green Bay into overtime, so
yeah,
there's that. Now, Green Bay did win. Aaron Rodgers just isn't really the Aaron Rodgers he used to be. 21 for 35, 251, and 2 touchdowns. He did have an interception, though, so he only had 17.39 for our league. I mean, he's a guy that used to put up 32, 33 consistently.
That's well under projection.
Yeah. So that is kind of a bummer. Again, you're kind of leading on your Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Jones, 16 carries for 110. 3 out of 4 receptions for 5 yards.
Good
Dillon,
stats.
Yeah, good
That's
stats.
really good.
But 1 less carry than Dillon. Dillon had 17 carries, but he only put 73 yards on the ground from them. So, still pretty split. So 13 points for Jones, 8.9 for Dillon, both on Raul's team. Mm-hmm. Alan Lazard had an okay day. 6 out of 8 receptions for 116 in the air, 14.6. And then we got Dobbs, Romeo Dobbs for Melvin. He had 47 yards in the air with a touchdown, but he also had a fumble lost. So he had 11.2. Not too bad. And then really, the only other star would be Robert Tonyan, who is a star. He's a solid player. I mean, 22 yards, 2 for 2 receptions for 22 yards and a touchdown. How's that for alliteration?
Yeah, that's fun. Say that 10 times fast.
And then the Packers, 4 sacks, a forced fumble, and a recovery of that fumble. 18.7 for the defense for Chris Alex.
Ooh, very fun. It was a fun game. I always like overtime games.
Yeah.
It was fun to see, Green Bay pull it off because we both picked them.
Yeah.
But it was, it was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
This game.
Yes.
It could have been New England.
Right.
Belichick showed up. There was the early injury, but Zapp stepped in. He went 10 for 15 for 99 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 fumble, and 3 sacks. He only scored 5 points, but he didn't play the whole game. But he kept him in it.
He took the Packers to overtime.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. I hope Hoyer's okay. I know he got put to the IR.
Yeah.
That was a big hit that he took. But
nobody owns either one of these players on our team, or our league. So
that could change.
Yeah, it could change.
It's probably too early for bye weeks, right? So Zapp's definitely not picked up at this point. But getting it done on the ground, New England. Damon Harris went 18 carries for 86 yards, a touchdown, scoring 14 points, over projecting by 6 points there. He was only projected 8.
Yeah.
Stevenson getting 14 carries, so a pretty even split.
Yeah.
It's getting close for 66 yards. He had 4 or 5 receptions for 23 yards, scoring 10 points of his projected 9. And Devontae Parker, leading the wide receiving crew in fantasy points. He only had 2 receptions, 24 yards, but he had the touchdown.
Yeah.
That's really great. Owned by Melvin. And then Aguilar, meeting his projection of around 6 points, with 6.1. Catching 3 of 4 targets for 46 yards. Their tight ends didn't do much. Henry only got 2 of his 4 targets for 13 yards. Jonas Smith, a no-show.
Yeah.
The Patriots defense overprojecting, getting 23 points.
Should've
and that's
played 'em.
mainly from return yards at that point.
Yeah, and they got that touchdown, so that always helps the defense.
That does. That's, touchdowns are points, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's why we play fantasy football. Moving right along, Las Vegas beating Denver 32-23. I miscalled that one, that's for sure. But most notably on that team, Josh Jacobs showing up. 28 carries for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. 1 big run for over 40 yards and catching 5 or 6 for 31. That was his game. It was his game.
Huge. Huge day for Jacobs. For Dan. I mean, you got to like that. You got to like it.
That's the big one. The other mention, Devontae Adams, of course.
Yep.
He met his projection. He got 1 carry for 4 yards, catching 9 of 13 for 101 yards, scoring 15 points for Daskell. Other than that, the Raiders stepped up. They met their projection on their defense with 22.66 points.
Available in the league. I was confused on why Vegas would attempt an onside kick at the beginning of the 7th quarter when you are up 10-7. Why would you onside kick the ball? And they end up winning the game, thank God. But had they not, everyone would point to that and say, that's why you lost the game, you idiots.
Yeah, idiots.
Oh, my God. But they did win. They beat out the Broncos. Russell Wilson, he had an okay day. 17 out of 25, 237 yards and 2 touchdowns. Plus he had, a plus 40 completion. He had a touchdown on, a rushing touchdown. And he had a reception. So, 1 yard, but 30 points for the day, not too shabby. Did you have him started?
I did.
Nice.
I'm always starting Russell Wilson, and it's either a great decision or a horrible decision.
Sure.
So
well,
that's just what I got to live with.
For sure. Well, speaking of horrible decisions, unfortunately, the Denver Broncos ground game was very, very bad this past week.
Yes.
Nobody scored over 4 points.
Williams got hurt.
Yeah,
so.
right. Melvin Gordon, he got negative points. He had a fumble lost. I will say here, Gordon now has 4 fumbles on the year. That is the same or more than any other year he's played.
Yeah.
So
what's going on?
It's his 8th year in. I don't know, man. but that's a stat that I found that I didn't like. Cortland Sutton,
Yes.
5 for 7 receptions, 52 yards and a touchdown, 13 points, not too bad. And Jerry Jeudy, also soaking up some points, 4 out of 5 receptions for, again, 53 yards and a touchdown. I mean, both those guys together barely got over 100 yards, but they got 2 touchdowns between them. 13.7 for Sutton, 13.3 for Jeudy. Huge numbers. And then, was it KJ Hamler? I think
KJ.
he had a plus 40 reception, so he, put up 8 points because he had a big, long catch. He had 1 catch for 55 yards, so that's why he had some points. But other than that, Broncos defense only had 2 sacks. They didn't really do a whole lot else. So I'm going to move right on to the KC Tampa Bay game. I thought the Bucs were going to win in prime time. They did not.
Yeah.
They did not. Now, Tom Brady did have his best game of the year like I thought he was going to.
It was a very exciting game.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I wish it was a little more back and forth, but it was, Tampa Bay playing catch up the whole time.
Well, KC scored in the opening 46 seconds.
Whoa, that's fast.
I think they recovered. It was a missed kickoff or something, or maybe they recovered. They kicked off and then recovered the ball.
Right.
They scored within the opening 46 seconds, so they end up winning 41-31. Patrick Mahomes, 23 out of 37, 249 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. But that'll happen. He had 27 points, underprojected just a bit. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire, decent game, 19 carries. I mean, only 92 yards, but he had a touchdown, and then he had a receiving touchdown. So 21 points on the day. Really good. Pacheco, nothing to snub your nose at too, because again, he's one of those returners. So you don't see it. He only shows 11 carries for 63 yards, but he's got 15.4 because of all those extra return yards.
And a rookie this year.
Was that he's a rookie this year?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Daskell's got him. Interesting grab. But then, you kind of have a spread out amongst the wide receivers. Valdez Scantling, 63 yards. Juju Smith, 46 yards.
Definitely, Travis Kelce is their main receiver.
Right. I mean, your receivers are getting 7.8, 7.1, but then, you go down to Travis Kelce, and it's, okay, 9 out of 10 receptions, 92 yards, and that's your, a touchdown. He had 24.2 for Mile High. Just a very, very good tight end. And the Chiefs defense, they're all right. They got 14 points, underprojected a little bit, but they had 2 fumble recoveries, a sack, so not too shabby.
And like you said, this was Tom Brady's best game.
Yeah.
He did attempt to throw the ball 52 times.
That's a crazy That's crazy.
That's a lot of throws. That's something I feel like that's Justin Herbert's doing that.
Yeah.
Josh Allen maybe.
This dude's 42?
Yeah, something
43?
like that.
He's throwing.
He's slinging that ball around. He went 39 for 52.
Yeah.
For 385 yards, 3 touchdowns. He lost 1 fumble on his 1 sack.
Mm-hmm.
Gone to the running game. Rachaad White, rookie this year.
Yeah.
Really showing up. He had 3 carries for 6 yards and a touchdown, and caught 5 for 50 yards.
First touchdown of his career.
Yeah. Also losing a fumble though, but scoring a respectful 17.2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Outscoring Fournette, who just had 3 carries for -3 yards.
Oof.
He went 7 for 7 though out of the air for 57 yards and a touchdown. So this was definitely a passing game.
Yeah. It had to
for Tampa Bay.
Had to be.
Just like, let's just sling the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Let Tom Brady be the field general he is and do it. So 10 of those pass attempts went to Mike Evans, and 10 went to Chris Godwin. Welcome back, Chris Godwin.
Right.
He's been out, I think, for the season so far. This was his first game back?
Yep. No, he played the first game, the very first game.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh, and re-injured himself.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that now. But Mike Evans got 8 of 10 for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns, scoring 26 points over there for Mile High. Beetle with Chris Godwin went 7 for 10 for 59 yards. Russell Gage and Julio Jones only getting a few attempts and grabbing just a few things. Cameron Brate, 4 for 8.
Yeah.
Could have been better. He reached his projection of 7 points with 7.2. But, 4 more catches would have put him in double digits.
Yeah. I looked at some stats for the Bucks, and they are like the lowest for like towards the lower end of tight ends, like second lowest, fifth lowest for attempts to tight ends, yards from tight ends, and touchdowns from tight ends.
I
They're
see.
just not using that position very much this year.
Maybe just for run blocking mainly.
Yeah, pretty
Could
much.
be. And Tampa Bay Buccaneers, giving up 41 points, so they did not come close to their projection.
No.
Only scoring 8 points. And to our last game
Yeah.
of the Week 4 recap. Sorry,
Yeah.
This is a long one, right?
We're about an hour and 24 right now.
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Jeez,
We went
okay.
over about an extra 30 minutes.
Yeah, a lot to talk about, I guess.
I love it.
That's
dude.
gonna happen.
I don't
We love
care.
talking football.
Yeah.
But Rams facing San Francisco, and
Oof, I called this one wrong.
yes,
Real
you did,
wrong.
and you were surprised I picked San Francisco.
I was surprised.
But they came,
Ugh.
and they conquered.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, they stayed and they conquered. It was a home game for them.
Oh, yes. They stayed and conquered. Got it. With the notes, they sacked Stafford 7 times. That's gotta hurt. I bet so,
Ugh.
especially with a hurt elbow. You're just landing on that all the time.
Tough.
Ugh. Yeah, you should put that in all caps next time. Tough.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. No, it was a great game. Jimmy Garoppolo doing really well,
Yeah.
over projecting with 25 points. He completed 16 of 27 for 239 yards and 1 touchdown. 2 touchdowns, 1 over 40 yards.
Thanks
the
to-
big bump.
Thanks to Samuel's legs.
Thanks to Deebo Samuel. He didn't throw it that far.
No, he did not.
But it did turn into that
I
reception.
think the reception was like maybe 12 or 15.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I wonder if that stat line will eventually change.
That's crazy though, right? If you just have a good receiver that could just burn like, ugh.
Yeah, that's not a 50-yard pass.
Right. You're not
It's a
throwing 70
12-yard
yards
pass.
to Tyreek Hill because he's
Right.
7 yards down the field.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that'll change one day.
I hope not.
But Joff Wilson showing up, scoring 13 points. He had 18 carries for 74 yards and a touchdown. Clearly, they're number 1 at the moment.
Best game of his year or best game of this year so far.
Yeah,
For him.
hopefully he stays healthy. I know he's injury prone, as a lot of those San Francisco runners are for some reason, just like
It's
Baltimore.
that easy living down there in San Francisco. They get soft.
But yes, Deebo Samuel, 2 carries for 2 yards. He went 6 for 7 for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. One of those being the long bomb. Right? Am I reading that right? Is that
no, I
2
think-
touchdowns, or is that just 1?
No,
touchdown?
it's just 1 touchdown. It was that
yes.
crazy. He dodged like
Yeah.
3, or I think it was 3 missed tackles altogether, but it was 2.
It was
nasty
awesome. I
runs.
love that highlight.
It was very
That was classic fun football that you would see like in
Yes.
the 80s.
Yes, just stripping
just
tackles.
running through people.
Love
Brandon Ayuk, just 4 for 4 with 37 yards.
Yeah.
George Kittle, tough. Beetle. George Kittle, just 2 for 4 for 24 yards. And the 49ers, though,
Oof.
their defense scoring 36 points, giving you a run for the money for highest scorer.
Beefy defense for Raul. Nasty.
I know.
Oof. We got through it.
We did. That was our week 4 recap. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Pigskin Isn't Just for Cooking podcast. Thank you for waiting for our little break. I know this break won't be as long as our break we just had, but damn, we needed a break after that long first segment. Longest podcast. I'm not sorry about that, though.
No.
This has been fun.
It's fine.
Maybe I shouldn't drink while doing podcasts,
Well, I figure it seems like the guys are eager for more podcasts. So rather than doing, a few podcasts through the week, we just do one huge podcast once a week.
but yeah, I mean, they were definitely itching for the podcast for this week on the message boards, for
funny.
sure. So shout out to you guys. We love you guys. We do this for you.
Yeah.
And if there's any other listeners out there, we love you too.
Weird, but okay. Well,
Sure.
we'd love to have you. You don't know what the guys are talking about, but that's cool.
Yeah, but there might be still some fantasy insight here and there. You never know.
If you love the game enough.
Right. And you can put up with us and our weird voices and or shimshammery. But anyways, I'm really not looking forward to talking about Thursday's night game because it was such a drag. I think we should get rid of Thursday night games in general. Have 2 Sunday night games so that there can still be a primetime Monday night game.
You and a lot of people in the league, I think, feel the same way about Thursday night's game. People say they're dangerous because you only have 4 days between games for 2 teams.
Yeah,
most of the time. Yeah, it's just about money. That's what it comes down to. It's money.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Just this game sucked. I felt it put me to sleep. This game literally put me to sleep.
There's no touchdowns. Not a touchdown was scored in this game.
No, it was all field goals. Great for kicker leagues.
I guess.
Not for ours.
No.
Great for defenses.
Yeah.
We're just going to blast through this one real quick. So, yeah, the highest scorers at this game were the defenses.
Yes.
Denver Broncos scoring 28.4 points, and the Colts scoring 23.2. Of course, the kickers we don't have, but they scored 17 and 10 respectively. Alec Pierce showing up. The rookie's really doing it. Russell Wilson still seems a mess. Definitely messed up that game-winning touchdown pass.
Yeah.
I thought they were just going to go for the tie. To be honest, I would have just went for the tie.
Well, I mean, sure. Just, worry about winning a game. Do it in overtime if you need to.
I mean, yeah, because, a tie doesn't count as a win, but if you're, especially in a tough division.
Oh, you're talking about tie in overtime.
Yeah.
I see what you're
finishing
saying.
in a tie.
I see what you're saying. I thought you meant, okay, yeah.
Just go for the tie.
Yeah.
Because especially in a tough division, that tie is going to be better than a loss.
Sure, that's true. They count for like a half a loss or something like
that.
Right. When it comes down to points and stuff, for sure.
Because now you got a loss.
Yeah.
Because, Denver's 2-3, Indy's 2-1.
Yeah.
And because of that win instead of a tie, Indy has a better record than Denver.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like
half.
those. Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. That counts. Yeah. So, in a game of inches, that should be something that in the back of your head, you'd rather tie than lose.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. But other than that, Hines injured in the first round of play of the game. That was a big hit for me. I had him in. He was projected 16 points, finished the game with 1.3 points and a concussion. He had what's it called? Gross motor movement now? What's it called? Do you remember?
Yeah. What they were talking about, that applies to head, back, and neck. If he shows those signs.
You can't stand or walk.
Yeah. It's an automatic non-starter. Literally. You're not starting the rest of this game, at least. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, especially from, Taylor being out, you were kind of really hoping that Hines was going to be, well, he was supposed to be the guy.
Right.
But it just, it didn't happen for you.
Just didn't happen. And it didn't end up being Philip Lindsay, even though he had 11 carries. Ended up being, sorry. I just closed out of my app.
Deion Jackson?
Yes.
Yeah. Free agent, second year in. Yeah.
So, he had 13 carries for 60 yards. He had 4 for 4 in receptions and 29 yards. He literally split carries with Philip Lindsay. Just ended up doing better.
Yeah.
And that's the highlights, guys. Melvin Gordon without a fumble, I guess, would be a highlight.
That is a highlight. This season, that's a highlight.
Melvin Gordon without a fumble in the game where he had to take on the responsibilities.
For Williams.
Yeah. I see Melvin Gordon's touches going down because Mike Boone actually is doing pretty well. Mm-hmm. And then also they have Latavius Murray.
Yeah, that they just,
So, on with that.
Yeah.
So, that's our Week 4 review and our Thursday night game into Week 5. We're going to move right along into our picks.
Yeah, so I lost my first Thursday game prediction because I picked the Broncos, and they didn't win. So Adam won his first Thursday matchup.
Woo! And the crowd goes wild. My first Thursday matchup. We split pretty well over this past week. It was our biggest week with differences.
Yeah.
And I eked it out by 1 extra win.
Yeah, there was only 5 games that we agreed on, the winners. And again, we only lost one of those 5 games. So yeah, it was the most split we've had, which is fun. That is really nice. But,
Very impressive.
But yeah, you got that first win. So let's move on to the noon games on Sunday. Or no, I'm sorry, the early morning game, because we are back in London again.
With
Sunday morning.
Giants, Green Bay, right?
Giants and Green Bay. Who do you like in the Giants and Green Bay game?
I am going to take Green Bay over the Giants. I really want to pick the Giants, but Daniel Jones is a little banged up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Saquon Barkley can do it all himself. And
No.
the wide receivers over in New York are not healthy as well.
Right.
So I think it's going to be Green Bay.
Yeah, I do too. Even though Aaron Rodgers isn't looking like the Aaron Rodgers in the past, that's okay because he's got Jones and Dillon kind of making up for him. But he also has very good receivers right now. So I think all those things, yeah, it's going to be Green Bay's game.
Yep.
And I think they're technically the home team in that. So
Mm-hmm.
okay. So after that, let's go to the Pittsburgh at Buffalo game.
Home game for Buffalo.
Home game for Buffalo.
Oh, they're going to eat up Pittsburgh, man.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Pickett and Pickens.
Yeah, I have Buffalo as well because it's Buffalo at home. That doesn't need to be a really long conversation about that, I don't think. So
That's quick.
yeah, that's how we're going now. Next up, Chargers at Cleveland.
This is a tough one.
Yeah,
I feel like Brissett's been playing really good football for Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
They have a great running dynamic.
Mm-hmm. They're at
And
home.
It's a home game. Man, you know what?
You just talk yourself into it.
I think I did.
High scoring game.
I'm
you think?
playing it in my head. I'm playing little.
What
it-
quarter are you in?
I'm playing little video games in my head to go through this. No, it's gonna be the Chargers gonna win that game.
Yeah, I also think it's going to be the Chargers. Looks like Justin Herbert, his injury is affecting him a little bit, but I mean he's still producing enough to win games. So, yep, I'm also picking the Chargers. Let's go to Chicago at Minnesota. Nice division game for us.
Minnesota's got this one in the bag, man. Chicago has to figure out their offense.
Yeah, I am also picking Minnesota. Justin Fields looked a little bit better last week as far as attempting more passes.
Mm-hmm.
Now we just got to make all those attempts count for something. And like you said, we got to tighten up our run defense. So yeah, it's going to be Minnesota's.
Yep.
So let's go to Detroit at New England.
This, I mean, dare I say that I pick every Detroit game to be the highest scoring game of the week? This could be a highest scoring game of the week.
Think so. Okay.
But
I'll 1-star that. I always probably wait for a 3-star because you always like to change your mind and pick another
I
one.
do because, well, this is my first time looking at the sheet for this week.
Right. Okay.
So that's what that happens. But I think New England's gonna beat Detroit.
Do you really?
Yes.
Well, my friend, I respectfully disagree.
Well, I know you're picking Detroit because they are the highest scoring team in the league.
They are.
But what stat you don't have on here is they're giving up a lot of points.
They are, and
So they're also the highest scored upon team.
yeah, I do need to get those stats. Also, New England's defense is New England's defense, and it's never a terrible defense. So,
Right. You know, it's
they're
a
at
Bell.
home.
I'm betting on Belichick.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first one we've disagreed upon so far, except for the Thursday game. So, we'll see. Let's keep going with the noon games. We've got Seattle at New Orleans.
This is a tough one.
Yes. This is one of the ones I had to decide on break.
It's either 50-50.
Yes.
So, to be honest, I just want to take the team you didn't pick.
Do you know who I picked?
I have no idea who you picked.
Oh, so you're going to make a pick based on mine. Okay.
Yes.
Because you just want to pick the opposite. I picked Seattle.
Cool. I'm going with New Orleans.
And you're okay picking New Orleans.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
See, I would have been fine picking either team. Just, dude, it's a 50-50.
Right. So it was this matchup, and the next one was the ones I was out picking on break because I couldn't land on anything.
So Miami at the Jets.
Miami
that is
at
also
Jets.
a tough one.
Yes.
Ooh.
So I finally picked something. Who are you picking? At the Jets. Right. And
Let's go
especially-
Jets. Let's get it.
Really?
Let's get it.
After last week and them taking it to the I mean, they didn't take it to the Steelers, but
No.
they beat the Steelers.
Yeah, and Miami, Tua's out.
He is.
Their two wide receivers are on injury report.
They are. You have Mostert and Edmonds, but
the Jets got their quarterback back.
Mhm.
They're playing their football.
you're
Yeah.
taking Jets?
I'm taking the Jets, man.
I'm taking the Dolphins.
Let's go Jets! Oh, we're gonna be talking about this game all day, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's not going to be a high-scoring game, is it? No, probably not.
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You would have said something if it was.
It's gonna be a close game. I'm thinking. I see in my mind's eye like 17-21 or something.
So, okay. Almost a field goal decision.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Let's go on to Atlanta at Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay all the way?
Yes. Tampa Bay, the home team, coming off of 2 losses in a row. They got to turn something around, and they're a team that can turn things around.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I also picked Tampa Bay just because of last week. I mean, yeah, Atlanta did win, but you don't have Cordell Patterson. I think Tampa Bay is going to win.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm picking a lot of home teams. Home teams this week.
you sure are. Oh, wow,
Yes.
you really are. Wow, everyone except for the Thursday game and the Chargers game, you're on the home team.
Yeah.
So let's move right along to Tennessee at
I'm
Washington.
going to keep that streak going. I'm picking Washington.
Are you really?
I am.
Nice, because I'm picking Washington.
Are you really? Okay. I mean, Tennessee's coming off a win, but Treylon Burks is injured. Washington gets their running back, right?
So I'm surprised we didn't talk about that in the news. Brian Robinson, the young man who was shot twice after one of those preseason games
For a carjacking.
for a carjacking.
Yes.
He is on the field now. He is practicing. I think officially practicing right now. He might play on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's an unknown. I think it's a boost for the team.
He's off injury and pup because I had to put him onto my bench this week. That's why I had to drop old Deontay Hardy this morning.
I was wondering why you were making some moves this
Yeah,
time.
I had to. Yeah, Brian Robinson is no longer on an injury report or pup list, so he is active. I don't know if he'll play a whole lot this game, but Tennessee is a bottom 5 pass defense. Carson Wentz is a good quarterback. He's gone against some tough defenses.
Yeah.
Pass defenses. So I think they're gonna win this.
Yeah, they'll eke it out in this one for sure. But it's also one that's really close.
You think?
Too close to tell, but I like the home field advantage. I don't like them Tennessee losing their potential number 1 wide receiver. They can lock down Robert Woods.
Yeah.
He's a roller coaster fantasy wise. So
Tell me about it.
know?
I think he's one of those guys. I'm sure like everyone's owned him at one point.
right?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I'll give it a shot. But
Right on. So let's go to the last noon game. That is the Houston Texans at Jacksonville. Who do you like?
man,
Really? I will say this.
I'm stuck on this one.
I will
man.
say this. The Jacksonville Jaguars have had an interception in every game so far this year. And for the last 2 games, the Houston Texans have given up 2 interceptions.
Well done. This will be a defensive one for Jacksonville then.
That's why I picked Jacksonville.
Yes.
I don't want to,
I figured if you're bringing up Jacksonville stats, you've picked
I
Jacksonville.
don't want to influence your pick, but that's what I found out.
Hey man, I got a winning record on you right now.
So
And
just so you,
picks, it's a safe pick.
yeah, you do have a winning record on me by 1 game.
No, actually,
No.
in your notes that you have typed out, it's by 104 games. But
I put he has 118 wins instead of 18 wins because I'm a dummy with fat fingers.
so,
Just so you know, you have picked every home team so far except for the Chargers Cleveland game and this past Thursday game.
well,
Just so you know.
yeah, I'm. It's a home game week.
Well, let's go to the 3:00 games for us Central Time, folks. We've got San Francisco at Carolina.
San Francisco.
You're breaking your home streak,
Yes.
your home team streak.
Carolina, for me right now, is kind of a dumpster fire.
Yeah, it's a bummer over there.
Yeah, it's
Baker. Stop doing commercials. Do football.
yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm thinking San Francisco too. Yeah, they're a good team. Their defense, their receivers. Jimmy Garoppolo is not the worst backup quarterback in the world. So
I want to talk to you about a trade for Jimmy G.
Okay.
I don't want to do it on air.
No, let's do it on air.
Okay.
Collusion.
Do you? Yeah. Well, because honestly, I haven't really thought about it, but when you brought up trades for your quarterbacks, I'm like, I might be able to snag a Jimmy G.
You think so?
I might be able
Okay,
to
we'll
snag
see.
a Jimmy
I'll tell you what, and a few other people in the league will verify I'm a tough guy to trade with.
Yeah. That's fine. I mean, what do you care though? Because you're not winning this season anyway. So.
That's true. But it's not about this season, Adam. It's about like the next two. I'm in a rebuilding year. Damn it.
Rebuilding with Jimmy G. Got it.
No, I am in trouble. Let's move on to the Dallas and Rams game. Dallas is playing Rams.
I'm going to go Dallas.
You're going another away game team. Okay.
Cooper Rush. The Rams just lost to San Francisco. I think that the verdict is in. They know how to beat the Rams. I think Dallas is going to pull it off. And,
my notes here, Dallas defense has allowed under 200 yards the last 3 games. 200 passing yards the last 3 games.
Great defense right there.
It's really good defense. For
and if Stafford just took, 7 sacks, like that, there's a method. Like they're figuring it out. So
sure.
I think Dallas can take on the Rams. Who did you pick?
I picked the Rams because this is the first home game they've had in 3 weeks. The last 2 games were away. They're back at home. I think it's just going to do
revitalize, rejuvenate
something. They pass a lot, man, and I know that Dallas has a good passing defense, but I still have faith in Matt Stafford and his arm, and I think being home is going to give them the kick that they need. So I'm picking the Rams.
Yeah, Dallas will be down CeeDee Lamb, but
yeah,
Gallup is back, so
yeah.
I
Cool. Let's go to the last 3 o'clock or the last afternoon game. We have Philadelphia at Arizona. Really? Arizona is coming off a win last week, I believe, right?
Arizona's good. This is one of the biggest tests for the Philly defense. That's why I took Philly defense out and put in Minnesota defense against Chicago. But Philly's undefeated.
Yeah. Arizona
can't win at home.
Right. That's literally the stat I was getting ready to bring up. So.
I'm going to ride the hot hand. I think Philly's going to eke this out. And
yeah. I also think Philadelphia. Are you calling this the highest scoring game? Are you thinking about that? Is that what you're thinking about?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll
call this highest scoring game. I'll call it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give it a 2, or I'll give it a 3-star. Yeah, I'm picking Philadelphia too. Again, Arizona's having a tough time at home, but I think they're going to put up some points. Kyler Murray's a very good quarterback.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, Zach Ertz is a very good tight end. They've got options. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. So we're both picking Philadelphia.
Yep.
All right, so let's go to the Sunday night game. Cincinnati at Baltimore.
Baltimore Ravens, buddy.
They sure are.
Yeah.
I kind of went back and forth about this because, I've got my quarterback bias for Burrow. But, yeah, I think the Ravens are a better team this year.
They are.
And they're at home, and that's always a nice advantage.
They're doing great.
So the last game we've got is the Monday night game. Las Vegas at Kansas City.
I'm going to go Vegas.
Are you really?
Yes.
Because they got their first one. They think they're just they got it. The shakes off. The shakes out.
They got to turn it around this season, and this is the game to do it. They got to start. They won their last game.
They don't have to turn it around. Some teams don't, but you're liking Vegas, huh?
I'm sure to win. There's got to be one upset, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's the upset.
Well, I'm taking Kansas City. They put up 41 points against the Bucs last week. This was their 3rd primetime game in 5 weeks. We were talking about how the Dallas Cowboys had 2 primetime games in a row, I think,
Kansas
within
City,
2 weeks.
Yeah.
This is Kansas City's 3rd primetime game.
Yeah. Man, they are good primetime. I probably chose wrong. This will give you a chance to catch up.
Oh, you bastard.
but I'm gonna hold tried and true. I'm gonna go that this is gonna be the upset. You know, it's not only a primetime game for Kansas City; it's a primetime game for Vegas.
Yeah,
And you know, Vegas holds the money. They know what they're doing.
for sure. I do want to point out that just so everybody knows, and me and Adam talk about this, we don't like these predictions. I don't listen to anybody. I don't look at Vegas predictions because you're saying Vegas. Maybe.
Oh, right.
I don't look at Vegas predictions. I know you don't. Like I don't
No.
listen to. I really since doing this podcast, I listen to less football than ever. As far as other podcasts.
You know what? That's very true because we're spending all our time thinking and doing
Right.
the podcast rather than listening
Right.
to podcasts.
And I don't think I did it consciously, but I don't want to just, regurgitate something a bunch of other people have said. I'm sure we are.
Oh yeah, we just
have
spent
to
an
be.
hour and 20 minutes regurgitating what happened in week 4. So,
Yeah, it was a long one. But yeah, these predictions, we just kind of do it off the top of our head. I use numbers based on points scored and our own stuff that we talk about on the podcast. That's kind of how we do it. So that's why it's really fun for me because, I don't know, we're just doing it based on what we're talking about pretty much.
This is we're really testing our knowledge. I mean, we're 10 years in on fantasy right at this point.
Yeah, and we're champions. We're both champions. So we've got a little bit of clout.
Fuck yeah, we're champions. Fuck
Hell yeah.
I'm going for the third one.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it this year.
Oh boy, because
Maybe.
apparently,
We'll see.
it can be done in this league.
I gotta have some confidence, man. I gotta have some confidence.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm throwing in the towel. You know what I mean? I want to win, but I'm realistic, and I just don't think
so if you're not winning, who do you think is?
this season.
Yeah.
You know, I like Mile High's chances this year.
Yeah.
I like Mile High's
I
chances.
did call that an Adam is gonna win this year.
Well, again, that gives you a 20% chance of being right. I mean,
Well, 2 Adams in a 10-person league. So
Yeah.
yes, an Adam is gonna win this year.
Oh boy, but yeah, I like Mile High's chances. He's got a good-looking team. He scored over 200 last 2 weeks, so
Heck
he's
yeah,
done good.
get it, Mile High. We're all betting on you, bud.
Yeah,
But anyways, thank you for listening. Have a great evening. Good luck this Sunday.
Yeah,
This
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I'll try to have this out by I don't know. Ooh, it's 4:00 now. I don't think I'm going to listen through this one. So if you hear a little bit more pops and clicks, that's because I didn't really edit it.
little less sound edits, but
Yeah, because this is a 2-hour one. Literally, as soon as Adam uploads it, I'm going to cut it together, and then I'm going to upload it. There's no editing going on.
but anyways, this is Adam Bullock, your commish with the dish for Pigskin Isn't Just for Cooking podcast. Here with Evan Forbes. Have a wonderful evening.
I'll see you guys next week.